What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cam Show, UFC 272. I cannot wait for this event. We got the main event, Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. Former roommates, former friends, former brothers turned enemies. What really happened between the two? We have some really bad blood. We got some other good fighters as well. We got a guy named Bryce Mitchell, up-and-coming fighter. I love this kid, his tenacity, his will. You know, they call him Thug Nasty for a reason. He's going to be a rapper eventually. Hey, I like this kid. Bryce Mitchell, shout out to him. Then we have former NFL player Greg Hardy on this card. He's a big underdog right now, on a two-fight losing streak. He got knocked out twice. Really not a good look. And then obviously Dos Anjos, one of the best UFC fighters that we've ever seen. He's 30-13 in his career. Been in the UFC for over a decade. He's been putting in the work. He's a legend, former champion. Shout out to him. But, let's get in the main event here. Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. What happened? What transpired? They were brothers, roommates. I think this is really, truly bad blood. Now, let's look if they were just, both of them were plotting on this since day one. This would be funny, right? If this was all just a, show between them two, with everything that's going on in the gym, in this former gym that Colby Covington was in with Masvidal. Look, stuff happens, and there's both sides of the story, then there's the truth. But look, from Jorge's side, it's like, dude, you didn't pay your dues, Colby. You had to pay, he owed a coach about $12,500, and supposedly to Masvidal, he didn't pay him. He's really helped Colby since he started out at the gym with Jorge Masvidal and just never paid. That's his side. And then Colby's coming out and said, I paid 5%, whatever. But a lot of people don't like Colby Covington. And it makes sense, right? We got this guy on here, a fighter, talking about Jorge Masvidal's kids, talking about his ex-wife, talking all reckless, right? Not just Masvidal. We're talking about Dustin Poirier, calls him Louisiana swamp trash, Dustin Poirier. I mean, dude, the list goes on. I mean, a lot of people do not like Colby, and it makes sense. I think, for Colby, is this all an act? Is this really who Colby Covington is? Only one person really knows, and that's Jorge Masvidal. I mean, they spent time and time together, like brothers, years. I mean, just every day together, dude. And now all of a sudden they got bad blood. Something happened between. Was it money? What was it? Was it backstabbing? Was it betrayal? What happened? And I think, this is really, truly bad blood between the two. I just think, who's favorite in this one? Obviously, Colby Covington, because, they are both 0-2 against the champion right now at 170. The pound-for-pound number one right now, Usman. Look, I just think, for Colby, he's 16-3 right now going into this fight. I think for Colby, yes, the ground game, you have to take Jorge down. If you do not take Masvidal down, I think, Masvidal has the advantage on his feet. To say Colby Covington's a better striker, you don't really understand UFC. I think, Masvidal, he's been in this game for years, started off in the backyard, with Kimbo Slice. I think, Masvidal's story's a little bit more interesting, in my opinion, than Covington. Covington went to college in Oregon State, graduated, he was a wrestler, all this, but Masvidal, he came up fighting really in the street, in the backyard, really just, he was a young kid then. He was like 18, 19 years old fighting these grown men in the backyards. So I think for Jorge, it just comes natural when you're throwing hands. I think for Colby Covington, you have to get this fight on the ground. Because if you don't, if you keep it standing, I give the edge to Jorge. I really do. To say Colby's a better striker, that'd be silly. Now, has Colby improved in that area? 100%. And we saw that in the Usman fight, in the second fight, where he landed some big strikes on Usman, really kind of wobbled him in a way. So I think for Masvidal, don't get too cocky on your feet. Don't say, I'm just going to knock him out, whatever. I'm telling you, because Covington, he does have a strong left, and we saw that in the Usman fight where he did daze him in a way. But I just think, electric-wise, yes, Masvidal, he's really bigger pay-per-views. And we're even seeing in this fight, and who am I going to go with? Ultimately, I want to see Jorge Masvidal win. I truly do. I love his story more than Colby Covington, but, the money is going to be thrown on Colby Covington right now. I just think right now he's more hungry. He wants to go to the top. And really what struck me in leading up to this fight was, Covington, he took a pay cut. I believe he's not getting some pay-per-views, whereas Masvidal Masvidal is getting all the pay-per-views. So I think something happened there, but, it's between them two, right? Really, truly bad blood, and even former coaches at the ATT gym, they even said, look, dude, these guys were going at it, dude. They really were, and I think it boils down to money. Money's the root of all evil. And we have to understand some people in our society today would kill their own mother for money. I mean, it's sad to say. It really is. That's the reality of it. It sucks. But I think for Colby and Jorge, it's like, no, I don't think they're ever going to be friends. I really don't. Do I want them to be friends after the fight? Absolutely. I want them to shake up. I want them both to apologize to each other and say, look, I was wrong doing this, or Colby owns up to something, or Masvidal says, you know what, I apologize. Whatever the case is, I just want to see these guys be brothers again. I really do. I think bad blood in a way is not good for your health and just for everybody around you. I really don't. So obviously, like Colby said, it's not the Ultimate Feelings Championship. It's the Ultimate Fighting Championship. So, at the end of the day, they're going to get locked in this cage, and they're going to lose brain cells, and they're going to fight. And they really are. But the money's going on Colby because I just think there's more hunger, and I think he has better wrestling right now, and he's been a little bit more active right now than Masvidal. And we have to understand, his recent fight against Usman, he did get KO'd pretty nasty. And really, I think for Masvidal, that's just really a learning experience because, before that KO happened, I was watching the fight live, and I even said, why is Masvidal hands down all of a sudden? Kind of getting a little cocky in there with Usman. And Usman picked it up, faked the takedown, then shot in. With that crazy straight, dude, just nailed him right on the chin. Just perfect form punch, and Masvidal was out. And I knew he was out as soon as he hit the ground. But I just think for Masvidal, this is a learning experience. You cannot get too cocky in here. I think whoever fighter goes into this fight right now with more feelings or coming in more cocky, I do think could possibly get caught. Now, what's interesting about this fight is a lot of the bettors in Vegas right now, they're really betting on Masvidal. They really are. That's crazy to me. About 80 certain casinos in Vegas, about 87% of the bets are on the underdog with Masvidal. And to me, it's like, what? That's crazy. But, in a way, it's not because Masvidal does have the tools to upset Colby Covington. When I say that is he's got the skill, and he does have good takedown defense. We go back to the Usman in the first fight where, Usman did take him down a couple times, but, Masvidal got right back up, immediately against these great wrestlers. And you expect Colby to shoot there 100%, but a lot of the bettors, 87% of the bettors are going on Masvidal, dude. It does kind of make sense because he does have that tenacity, he does have that electricity, he does have that power, just the skill to knock you out. And we saw the Ben Askren fight back in 2019 where he threw that crazy knee where Askren was going to shoot for a takedown. And then we saw, and really, they said it was the fastest UFC knockout in history. It is with 5 seconds, but really, it was like 2 or 3 seconds. He was already out. He was out in like 2 or 3 seconds. They said 5 seconds, but reality was like 2 or 3. It's crazy. And I think Masvidal, he just signed an extension with the UFC. So I think a lot of the pressure right now is definitely on Colby Covington. Why do I say that? Because, all the trash talking he's doing, everything that's going on in the media, calling out, Israel Adesanya at 185 going to move up in weight. Like, that's crazy to me, dude. I think Masvidal, he, like I said, signed an extension with the UFC. So, win or lose for Masvidal, really, I don't think it matters to him because he has a lot more opportunities in a way to fight different fighters. He could go to the Diaz fight again. He really can. He can go to Wonder Boy, get that rematch with him. So many options for both fighters. For Colby, obviously, he wants to get on Usman or Leon Edwards. Obviously, for Masvidal, he's got to get Leon Edwards. That fight's going to happen. He did cancel out in December with an injury, but at the end of the day, I do want to see Masvidal and Leon Edwards fight in the future. And we know what Colby Covington said about Leon Edwards. Called him scissor hands because he likes to poke people in fights, which is crazy. I mean, dude, it's just, I do think it is trying to get in your head. It is kind of, in a way, trying to sell pay-per-views, but at the end of the day, Colby's not really getting that money for the pay-per-view in this fight. Colby said he would fight this fight for free, and with that being said, I was like, dude, I mean, I don't know, man. I want Jorge Masvidal to win. I do, but the money's going to be thrown on Colby Covington, man. Chaos. I'm telling you right now. He's got the pressure, but, he can't get caught. This is the UFC, dude. The Ultimate Fighting Championship, anybody can get caught. Even the greats. I mean, Anderson Silva got caught. He got caught cocky in a way. I think this was back in like 2013, or 14, where he got caught and really embarrassed. And he was just trying to showboat, with his hands down and this stuff. But, I think showboating in a way in UFC, dude, is really not a good thing, dude. At the end of the day, karma's going to bite you in the butt, and you're probably going to get knocked out, dude. These guys are really fighting, man. This is the real deal. This isn't wrestling. This isn't WWE here where it's fake. This is as real as it gets. And I think that's why, UFC continues to build the brand. We have to give a shout out to Dana White. So many people like to bash Dana White, say crazy things about Dana White, but look, he's one of the bosses. So he tells you he's the one giving you your money. He's the one signing your checks. So, people can talk crap about him, but at the end of the day, he's the one writing the checks. So, therefore, he is the boss here. So, shout out to Dana White. Love or hate him. I cannot wait. And then, like I said, Bryce Mitchell coming into this fight 14-1. He's one of two UFC fighters to do a twister submission, dude. One of two. That's amazing. To do a twister submission, that is crazy. And Bryce Mitchell did it. And he's tied for third longest active win streak in UFC featherweight division with 5 win streak. So I like Bryce Mitchell. I'm going him all day. Thug Nasty, I think he wants to pursue rap as well. We saw him rapping and stuff. I think that's great, man. He's from Arkansas, country boy, but he likes to rap, and he's got that will. He's got that tenacity. He's got the hunger. He's a young kid coming up in the UFC. I'm rooting for him. I want to see him win, man. I don't want to see Edison win. He's 22-10. But look, I'm going Bryce Mitchell here. Parlay, I definitely would go Bryce Mitchell. But, the main event's so hard to decide, right? But I like Bryce Mitchell. Like I said, rapper. I love this kid, man. I'm rooting for him, so I want to see Bryce Mitchell win. I would love for you guys. It would be smart to throw your bread on Bryce Mitchell all day, every day. And then Dos Anjos, he's got a replacement fighter. He's 30-13 in the UFC. I like him all day in this matchup. If I have a lock pick, it's Dos Anjos 100%, dude. It's got to be him. He's been in this sport for years. He's a veteran. He knows the ins and outs of the fight game. So I'm going him all day. And then we got Greg Hardy, like I said, plus 185 underdog as of right now on a 2-fight losing streak. Got knocked out back-to-back. I mean, for Greg Hardy, it's like, I think this is his biggest fight of his career. I think if he loses by knockout again, 3 knockouts in a row, I do think the UFC will release Greg Hardy. Unless he's on like a couple more fight, contract extension. But I don't think that will happen. When you get knocked out 3 times in a row in different fights, I think, Greg Hardy, former NFL player, played on the Carolina Panthers and Dallas Cowboys. He does have that, kind of, craziness to him. But at the end of the day, the craziness, all the mad, the anger, not controlling your emotions, that's what's going to happen to you in the UFC. You're going to get knocked out. If you cannot control your emotions, you cannot control your ego, well, you know what? There's one way there, okay? And that's straight down to the ground and knock out. You're going to get up and people are going to be, going crazy and you're not going to know what's going to happen. So I think you got to be humble. I'm not going to throw money on that fight, on the Greg Hardy fight, but, Dos Anjos, I would say that's one of my lock picks. And then obviously go Bryce Mitchell. But like I said, back to the main event, man. This is what the fans wanted to see, man. And I think, for the UFC, this is huge. This is a non-title fight, but it's a pay-per-view main event, dude. Non-title 5-round fight. So I think, for Jorge Masvidal, you cannot let Colby take you down. If you do let him take you down and continue to take you down, just like he did against Woodley, we saw what he did against Woodley. He stand with Woodley for a little bit, got to the body, took him down, and worked the body even more. I think for Masvidal and Colby, they know each other so well. They know each other's weakness, so we expect that. We already seen Masvidal even come out and say, Colby doesn't like body shots. And we can all agree to that. I mean, we've seen Colby fight, in the Usman 1 fight where, Usman was landing crazy body shots, and we just seen Colby kind of tense up and slow down a little bit. Those body shots do add up. And a lot of people don't even realize it's like, dude, body shots, they're terrible. Honestly, sometimes I'd rather get punched in the face than a body shot. If you guys have ever gotten hit by a body shot, dude, you can't breathe right. Everything just starts to mess up. The flow messes up. Just your equilibrium doesn't work right, really. When you get a good body shot, man, it does not feel good. There's nothing about it, dude. It's worse than a cramp. It's like, you kind of got the wind knocked out of you in a way. But, those hits start to add up. So I think Masvidal's going to go to the body a lot. He's got to. Throw some leg kicks here and there. I really want to see Colby throw some some leg kicks. I do think that's one of his weaknesses. Yes, we've seen him throw leg kicks, especially in the Usman fight, but Usman was ready for that. He was ready, always blocked every leg kick that really Colby threw, except maybe a leg kick, but I'm talking upper body, even head leg kick, none of that. So I think Colby, hopefully worked on that, worked on his striking, because if Colby gets in arrogant in this fight and says, you know what, I'm going to stand with Masvidal the whole 5 rounds, I think that'd be ignorant. I think, yes, if he does stand the first 2 rounds, okay, eventually, Colby, you're going to have to go to your bread and butter. You're a former wrestler. You grew up wrestling ever since you were a kid. So you're going to have to take Masvidal down. You're going to have to. And Masvidal's not a fighter. He is a fighter. He's not a wrestler. Masvidal is not a wrestler, okay? Yes, we do know Masvidal is a true fighter. He's a dog. He's got the dog in him. I'm rooting for Masvidal personally, okay? Now, betting-wise, it is hard. It's hard to bet on your heart. You can't bet on your heart. You got to bet on your mind. And do it. I love Masvidal. I think he's one of, obviously there's a stat right now. Masvidal, he's a top 3 pay-per-view draw right now. He's the top 3 highest paid UFC fighter right now, Jorge Masvidal. So there's a reason he's up there. There's a reason. So I love him, but, at the end of the day, man, I think Colby's got it here. I really do. I think in a way he's got in his head a little bit. Even though Masvidal's been in this fight game longer than Colby, okay? But I just think for Colby, the wrestling is the key here in this fight. If you cannot get Masvidal down, Masvidal will win this fight. Now, if Colby continues to take Masvidal down, yes, he's going to win this fight. We even seen Colby saying, you know what, I'm just going to drag this fight out, blah, 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 all this stuff. So much has been said, and I think, what's next for Colby, win or lose. So let's say he does win here. I think Colby's going to fight Dustin Poirier. I think that's definitely a consideration, 100%. Or he could go up to 185, and fight Whittaker before he would even fight Adesanya, So I think he's got to work up to that. Who knows? But I think lose for Masvidal, lose for Colby, I do think Colby's going to be like, dude, I want a rematch. If he gets caught, you just never know. We could see Masvidal throw a crazy leg kick that we really haven't seen recently. You just never know. You really don't. So I just think win or lose for Colby, the future's still bright for him. He's getting in the media more. A lot of people are knowing about him because, a couple years ago when he fought Demian Maia in Brazil, we heard what he said about Brazil, calling them filthy animals, all this stuff, he's kind of unfiltered, and that's why a lot of people rub off the wrong way with him, right? They just judge him. They don't know him personally, but they just don't like what he says in the media, right? Especially about Masvidal, talking about his children and shit, dude, talking about his ex-wife, staying at his house, his ex-wife, you just pay the bills, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? But at the end of the day, man, this is going to be a huge fight. I think the pay-per-views are going to be great. I think a lot of people are going to tune into this fight, and I think, the UFC promoting-wise, they do great. And I think, Masvidal and obviously Colby Covington, he's trying to be like a kind of like a Conor McGregor 2.0, the way Conor McGregor used to talk smash, back in 2012, 13 time, right? Really when Conor was getting in the scene, first starting in the UFC, then McGregor would say some crazy stuff back in 2014, 15, and then we saw in 2017 when he fought against Mayweather, said some crazy stuff as well, just to promote, make more money. And we even seen Colby, in the Usman 2 fight, after the fight, he said, man, what I said, it is what it is, it's all business. I'm just trying to make you more richer, at the end of the day. But Colby, he says, there's no friends in this business. I'm here to make money. So I think this is really, truly bad blood, but at the end of the day, I'm going to go Colby. I would love to see Jorge with the knockout. I wouldn't even be mad if I got this pick wrong. I really wouldn't. But I'm going Colby. I think he's got the advantage, and I think the fight, the longer it lasts, the advantage goes to Colby because he's got the endurance. He's got the stamina. He really does, dude. He's got the cardio to really put the pace and continue to do that. Now, Masvidal, on the flip side, now if Masvidal does win, it's going to be by knockout, and it's going to be in the first 2 rounds. I think if Masvidal, if he doesn't make it out, if he doesn't knock out Colby in the first 2 rounds, I think it's going to be over for him. I really do. I think, as the fight goes out, the advantage goes to Colby. He's going to start to take you down, wear on you on the fence, do some body shots, and just fight here. But I think this is going to kind of be like a street fight in a way. I really do. I especially the first round. Now, if you guys were throwing, some loose bets here, just to, throw it out there, I would definitely, maybe even throw in a loose bet and say, you know what, Masvidal first round knockout. Something crazy, right? If you're going to go roll with the underdog and Masvidal, but I just think for Colby, you got to pick him, dude. But, according to Vegas, a lot of people are throwing bread on Masvidal, dude. They really are. So I think it's a balance. It really is. I do think it is in a way kind of a coin flip, but I'm still going to the advantage, Colby. I do think, he's a little bit younger. Yes, he doesn't have as many fights as Masvidal. That is an advantage for Masvidal having the experience here. But I think this is going to be a dogfight. I really do. I don't think it's going to be easy for both fighters. They're coming in saying, I'm going to do this and that. I think it's going to be a little bit different here. We got everybody's going to be watching, big pay-per-view, and a lot of people are going to tune in. So I cannot wait for UFC 272, baby. I got Covington, and I got Bryce Mitchell, man, with my lock picks. But like I said, I'm rooting for Jorge Masvidal, but I'm going Colby, Bryce Mitchell, baby. UFC 272 is here, baby. It's the Cloud with Cam show. Let's go!